Everyone has a chance to sign in. Okay. Everyone has a chance to look at the minutes.
I don't know if it's a big difference, but under old business in the minutes, under the sewage project, the last paragraph, you had, I thought they were only replacing piping. It's not piping, it's pumps and floats. Not piping in that station.
Okay, well, what I figured out is piping, but you can change it if you want, or if you don't care.
Yeah,
then-
there's no piping that's being changed.
Up to you guys.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve with the amendment of pumps and flows instead of piping in the last paragraph on the first page.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, everybody have a chance to look at the claims from last month?
I do have, actually, just right now. Is the Verizon bill higher this month? Am I crazy? The 360, is that really what we pay for 2 phones and their card? I don't know. I don't remember if it was that last week or not. I'm thinking it could be the time in the bill. You know, some run a little short and some run over, depending on the number of days. I have noticed that they're not always even. And I'm trying to get that one.
Oh, okay, it's only $1 different from last month. I found it, sorry.
Okay.
I was trying to, but it wasn't pulling up.
We did have a problem with they didn't receive a check, they put it on the wrong account. So if it's on the wrong account, I think it's on our account. We have our sewage account and we have our town account. And even though the number is on it and I sent it, so I got a feeling it's on here. Okay. We didn't get anything unless they just didn't check. And I haven't got the bank statement. We don't have the bank statements either. Because it's not here yet, but
So that's the reason my phone shut down.
I think so. They either don't have a payment, it's somewhere in the mail or not in the mail, and we'll never see it again.
The night I text you, the whole next day, it was not on. About 9 o'clock the next morning, they come back to life.
And I'm trying to get it to be an auto pay, but that seems to be really difficult. I think that they'd be happy with that, but they're not. I'm just happy if I can speak, someone speaks English, but, or that at least I can understand their English. They speak English, but their accents are sometimes a little heavy that I'm like, excuse me, pardon me? I didn't know they had to talk to me because I keep asking them to repeat themselves.
So adding the attorney can someone else double check me on the total? It would be $19,348.66. I just had it, it's the total.
852, 852.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the February, March 2026 claims. In addition, amending, we add the bill to the attorney for $852.50, making the new grand total $19,348.60.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Old business projects. Tina.
Thank you. So tonight I'm here, looking for signatures for the wastewater treatment plant project. For the first set of signatures will be for rural development. And I'm not sure if Rick wants to go first to talk about your contract, because that's part of the list, that we need to get executed.
So they need a contract or an engagement letter prepared. An engagement letter. Key thing they wanted to do was not to exceed $30,000. Wanted to be honest and put that on the drawings. They're entitled to, you can get reimbursed from the proceeds. So time comes we can separate that out. This month's billing, for example, I think there were 2 entries that were clearly for the project. But, you know, coming to the meeting in 10 minutes related to the project and the rest of the time is not.
But there is 30,000, and that we can, that's dedicated for attorney fees.
So like at the end of the project or as the project goes, we could like reimburse the town for the attorney fees.
Right.
Okay. We need a motion to approve the engagement letter. Or does that matter? Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the engagement letter for the law of Richard Morgan for the sewage project.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Oh, you do? Sorry.
I'll get this and then I'll email you your copy of that.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's fine. One for you. You can hold on to that one.
Okay, and so Rick's already signed the opinion of the council for the road right away. There was a map that went around and everyone signed it stating that we're not acquiring any easements, everything's happening in the road right away. There was a certificate that needed to be on top of that map, so he signed that and we have it back. The preliminary title opinion for the wastewater treatment plant. Sorry. The preliminary title opinion, I reviewed the map with RD. The only title opinion they needed was for the wastewater treatment plant because you own that property. It was determined that you only own assets out of the high school. And the school, when I did the title look, the school owns all the property, you just own the asset out there. Certificate, so I have the preliminary title opinion done. Certificate of debarment, so I do have behind Rick's contract is his certificate of debarment. I'm gonna go ahead and have the town sign one. I don't think it's necessary, there doesn't need to be a motion for it, just for Carrie to sign that and send back. It's just, I think it's only for contracts, but because you're going into a contract for the loan with rural development, I'm just gonna better safe than sorry for Snap to sign. And the next one will need a seal. It is called the right-of-way certificate. And again, even though this project does not purchase any easements acquisition and everything's happening in the road right-of-way, I basically just said this is not applicable, but we need to have Carrie sign it and then the secretary to sign it as well, Pam, and place her seal on it.
for long.
And then tomorrow, I'm going to scan all of these. I'll have Carrie, Pam on it, CC, Rick will be on it as well. And you'll see all the forms heading back to RD. Next, we have a request to the Indiana Office of Rural Affairs. So the grant was for $750,000. We had bids to be in hand by February 28th. And I had requested an extension to April 30th to have bids in hand. And then May 31st was release of funds. And because we're asking for the bid extension, it'll also delay us in getting what's called release of funds, where we're closing that bond, that loan with RD. And so I extended that out to have release of funds July 31st. So bids in hand by April 30th. And release of funds, the bond in place by July 31st. And I would just ask for Carrie to sign this letter. And Okra has already approved this request because I had to make the request on the portal. And the last step was just to have a letter signed by the council president. And I just need to upload that, but they went ahead and approved that extension. Yeah, so I already know that this time request has been approved. I want to make sure that you're aware of, we just received Friday from Rural Development the release to bid, authorization to bid. So that's really what we've been, if you want to take your pass around. I want to just make sure you have these handy, these dates. And so with the authorization to bid, release or the release of authorization to bid from Rural Development, Darren and I worked together on a time frame, so we're going to try to get this over to the Frankfurt Times newspaper. Now, Darren is also going to place this in a public bidding, online bidding program too, that's probably more widely used in Frankfurt Times, but I can change that. I mean, federal statutes that you advertise it in a paper. It doesn't have to be local. I just know that's the closest one to you. And then, so that's March 13th, we have to have the ad, and we have it ready. Go ahead and just. Here you go. If you want to see the advertisement for the read. And then I think there's 3 there. For you to look at. It's a fairly lengthy and it'll be expensive bid advertisement. That will be sent to the paper March 13th. And then March 18th, it'll appear in the paper. We're looking for a 30-day bid time. And so the second advertisement will go into the paper March 25th because federal requirements add that you require that you advertise it once. Then 7 days later, you place it in the paper again. And then within 7 days, the bids can be due, but Darren wants a total length of 30 days or close to it. So April 1st is the day that he picked to have the pre-bid meeting with bid opening April 15th at 2 p.m. Now, the bid opening meeting on Wednesday, April 15th at 2 p.m., that has to be publicly announced. Now, we can go back and modify that if we need to change the time on that, but this was what Darren came up with having them do. So if we open the bids at 2, is that the same night as your meeting on April 15th? No.
No, we meet on Mondays.
So bid opening meeting, April 15th. Could we have a special meeting on April 15th sometime to just open those bids? and just publicly read them aloud.
What can everybody else do on this? Work-wise,
I can leave too.
And I can take meeting minutes because it would just be opening them, writing those bid packets and down.
The
Down.
15th is not the best day for me.
Isn't the regular meeting on the 13th?
Yeah, our regular meeting would be the
Does that work, Tina? Like 2 days.
Let's say first choice is April 13th. Now, I can't remember. Let me see what Darren said. There were a few days he was out. I'll go back. So April 13th, 6:30. It's the first choice. Second choice will be the April 15th. At 2 p.m. And then publicly read aloud. We could do 2:15. And then we'll have the bids due on the 13th at at 6:15, and then publicly read aloud at 6:30. And I'd like the Commonwealth to be there because they're typically, Darren will be there to actually open the bids and to sort through them to make sure all of the forms are included. And I'll be marking off as he's reading them. And then he announces the bid amount. And then I'll be taking meeting minutes for you if you're not able to make it. But we'll try first. I'll go back to Darren tomorrow, see if April 13th, and I'll send it to you all. Other than that, do you have any questions for me? This satisfies everything that rolled over to me. Satisfies all the emails I sent to everybody today. Thank you, Pam. She was very speedy on getting some of the contracts over. And I will get everything sent over tomorrow. And then we're ready to start bidding. So if you see anything in that newspaper advertisement, you guys just let me know. And I will let you know what Darren says about backing that meeting up to the 13th. We would just need to have, if we do it as a night, which I think is gonna be okay, I mean, someone needs to be here about 6:15 so that they can drop those proposals off. Which you're typically here early anyway, so. Is there anything for me to say for the rest of the meeting, or any questions? No?
Thank you. Thank you.
I will head out. All right, no problem, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, I'll get everybody.
I know, it was like second my friend. CCFD matching grant to raise the streets on spring 2026. Stormwater fund and planning project table from last meeting. I see. Table again. Any building permits?
Not permits per se, but Jeremy Rush just purchased 102 Main Street. They come on it south of town. And that been several times, haven't we? 2 or 3 times now. Trying to lay things out, make sure it's setbacks. Here's a map up here that I'll let him put in what he's planning on building. Make sure none of you have, I emailed everybody. I don't think there's any issues, but I want him to come and show you what he's planning. Even though he's planning on not start construction until next spring. So we're not at permit yet, but.
So, first and foremost, Jeremy Rush. So the game plan is, for now, we're wanting to add a driveway here. And then we're gonna do 2 duplexes here. I already have it marked out on the property, you guys have to drive by. It looks like it meets setbacks, Jeff said he drove by, he looked at it, everything looked good. Really my biggest concerns, this is gonna be parking, if that doesn't happen to work out, we talked about doing possibly like a retaining wall, and widening this out and put parking down here. But again, I just purchased this like 2 weeks ago, so it's all still in the works. If anything, I am gonna dress this up, some landscaping plants or whatever. But really my biggest concerns were, I wanted to do farm videos, so I wanted to make sure that there was nothing against those. And then, yeah, really it was the parking that things that we talked about. And, the setback right here, I came off of his property line because we don't know exactly where it's at. It was a pretty good idea. I came off of that about 10 feet before I even started parking. So we should be good with where the parkings are at. Like I said, as far as the retaining wall goes and, the whole barn, the barn videos, I want to make sure that I'm good to go on all that. I don't mind, I'm gonna work with you guys, not against you guys, so. I don't see any issue.
I think ordinance here.
So, I know you're really talking about, this is like a hill. It's built up about 5 feet. It's almost sloped down the street at this spot. But if he does put this retaining wall in, he's going to back it up about 10 feet, which would actually dress it up better. Because these people over here park along the street, wider parking at that point, if he chooses to do that instead of driving in center, right?
Yes. And like I said, that's gonna be a trial and error type thing. I know the biggest concern that we have right now is they have these guide wires right at about 10 feet. And I have not been able to get a hold of Duke yet to, I don't know if there's setbacks, like you're allowed to be right next to them or you gotta stay off of those 5 feet, I'm not really sure. So if that ends up becoming an issue where I have to stay off 5 feet, that might push me where I have to park.
He's got, that corner there is full of guide wires, both directions. I said, you're gonna have to check with Duke to see what they say after that. I'll have to put it with that.
Yeah, and I'm not too sure on that either. He said, if they tell me I can't build within 2 or 3 feet of it, that might, niche that idea anyway, so.
Which is the end of the world for you, as far as that goes.
No, that won't really affect me. And I said, the main plan right now is parking in the middle. That's what I want to do, people to be close to the door. And that's what I'd like to do. Like I said, setbacks and all that, I want to get everything laid out. Maybe it won't work and we need to put it down here. But, like I said, I'll get that figured out with Duke. Like I said,
And for right now, you're just wanting to prep a lot this year.
yeah, this year is just gonna be prepping, landscaping, cutting down those trees, doing some stump grinding, whatnot. Just pretty much getting it prepped and ready for build next spring.
And did you ever find out anything from the previous survey? Did you get
He was the one, I was trying to get a hold of him and he wasn't really, he never got back to me. I was talking to his secretary and she said that she was trying to look for it and she couldn't find it.
The previous owner had this lot surveyed, but it's really vague. When you look at it, there's no pins, can't find pins. Or they don't put pins in anymore, it's just with the stakes. So when I was down there with Jeremy, we were trying to ballpark what that survey map said and measuring off of the alley to the north and then the lot size to get him close to the right place so we could kind of halfway know what he was dealing with there. So, but regardless of what he's doing, he's going to be within the setbacks, front, back, sides, the alley, all that stuff. So,
Are you, Jefferson, now, is there is it gonna have to be tapped? Or is there already one there?
There's already a sewer tap and there's already a well drilled there.
there's a tall clean out, like what's on the ground. So it's already tapped in. All he's got to do is connect.
And,
Yeah, these plans years ago.
and I'm pretty good buddies with, Asher, Plumbing here in town. I'm pretty good friends with him, and he's already talked to me about, he's going to make sure the pipe is big enough to, he said for one of the duplexes, it will for sure be big enough. He's gonna do, you know, the plumber math, I don't know all that, to figure out if it's gonna be big enough for both duplexes. If not, he said that, you know, it's just a matter of getting another tap and take care of all that.
I think that's a 4-inch tap.
Yeah, like I said, he said he's just gotta do the math of, you know, how many bathtubs, how many toilets, that kind of stuff. Like I said, the plumber math.
So just a heads up, if you have to have a second tap, that costs what?
1,500? Yeah. That's one of the-
And that's fine, I'll have my equity from the first building to proceed with that second.
I just want to give you a heads up.
Yeah.
That-
That's why I just
Absolutely.
kind of brought it up, just so I make sure.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, and like I said, Asher will let me know too, like it might be big enough to accommodate all 4 duplexes, or 2 duplexes. Not sure yet, you gotta do his math on that, so.
So he's not wanting a permit tonight because he's not close enough to construction, but whenever he's close, he'll get with me.
So do I need to get a permit for driveways or? Okay,
Everything you want to do right now is, there's not required permit.
all right.
Cleaning it up, getting rid of trees, cutting down stones, cutting driveways, you know.
All right. Any other questions for me?
I don't think so.
Thanks for coming. Yeah, thanks.
Yep, no problem, thank you guys.
That's one thing I have to do.
Yes.
Okay. All right, sewage utility report, Scott.
Well, things running low. We lost power over the weekend and the generator started. I think the generator started probably shut off, but the blowers didn't turn back. We had the blowers back up and running. He said the flow's actually coming out a little better. He thinks it's just because there's a bit more head in the lagoons. So he thinks he saw some big salmon or something.
There's some big turtles back there today. I've seen those.
I don't doubt that, yeah. So he was keeping an eye out, gonna try and get it out of the tank.
I talked to Sean this afternoon, because I was afraid his flow maybe way too much, because we had I got everything set up to put the second bypass pump in. Because it was getting too low.
Oh, too low,
Then it rained,
yeah.
we got head pressure back, and it's forcing more through that messed up pinch valve.
Right.
So it was perfect, so we didn't put the second bypass pump in, but at some point, we're gonna have to keep the flow back, or get the flow back.
Right.
So we're ready to go with that, but he told me about the blowers not kicking on, over the weekend. I think what happened, I can't explain why the blowers didn't just automatically come back on. But we only lost power for what, maybe 5 seconds? One on the center line
Yeah.
was back there. I don't even think the generator had enough time to start. And if it did, it's shut right back off, so.
Sometimes transfer switches, I've had it on. They'll transfer, kick on the generator and the blower will keep going. But when they switch back, if it's not synced up right, they'll knock them off. And that's
I told Sean, I
probably
said,
what happened.
I don't think the power was off long enough for the blower to quit spinning. So I don't know why it didn't restart.
Well, yeah, it's
Weird, probably a fluke.
yeah.
And he was a little nervous about it. I said,
It's okay.
it is what it is, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and it's not, with all the rainwater, the videos would be,
Yeah.
shouldn't have
And I kind of put that in the back of my mind now, like an evening or weekends when he's not here, if we lose power, I'll make sure I go back there and make sure the blower's being back.
Yeah.
And I'll have him show me how to reset or whatever to.
Yeah, it
back
shouldn't
if he
be.
didn't come on.
Yeah, it's just the VFD.
Okay.
So,
Because I don't know a whole lot about the blower room at all, because I really haven't messed with it. But
yeah, so, I left Randy, foreman for me, so he's overseeing a couple of projects. I don't know if he's happy about it or not at the moment.
I think he's thrilled to death, but at the verge of overwhelmed. Like,
Yeah,
his head was spinning.
well, with the
It'll be okay.
extreme cold back at the end of we had another facility over by Anderson, we had issues because of the cold, and he got pulled in to the managerial position here in February. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on. I'm just like, I'm here. Oh, Fergie.
I think he does a great job.
Oh, he does.
He really does.
Yeah.
He's definitely a keeper. So
Yeah.
keep giving him praises. Keep him.
Oh, you got a nice one. When I told him I was going to see you, oh, that's more than I thought. He's happy. But yeah, he's doing a good job. So, but that said, he may be out a little bit more because of that. But he does make sure that this place is covered, either by him or someone else to make sure that everything is done.
I think he always feels bad if he gets back there at a certain time frame.
Yeah.
And I keep telling Sean, we don't care when you're here. Just as long as you get your testing done, that needs done every day. That's all we really care about. I don't care if you're here at 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. You know, as long as you get your stuff done.
Well, and he's doing a good job for me. So, yeah, he's definitely. He's working on the inventory. He's got most of it done. I think he said he still had to do the old screening room. He's like, we're not using it, so I have to go find the old plans to get feedback. So he's got the lab, he's got the loaders and all that stuff taken care of the liquidation. He just needs to finish up a couple of smaller areas and then we'll have the whole list. So I've got that on a Google Drive if you would like to link. I'd like to put that out.
You wanted to share it with me, that'd be terrific.
Okay. Other than that, things are, you know, the discharge is good, everything went fine. I wish all of my plans were going well.
I did tell him timing as far as when things start being back up.
Mhm.
I'm gonna burn off the inside of the lagoons to get rid of all that tall, dead stuff. And then I'm gonna keep the inside sprayed so it's rocks instead of
Well,
6 foot
remember,
tall thistles that's blooming.
you take it down to the rocks, you get a lot more.
I've not seen a difference in them things,
Really?
other than the 2 dead ones that we found last week.
Okay.
There's been these back there.
Oh, no, they get out in the water, they just stay in the water.
Yeah, they
That's
were-
my biggest kind of ever had. So they'll start nesting. And of course, they decide to put their nest next to your valves and stuff, because it gives them a little something to protect the nest with, and then they get real protected.
Yeah.
I had a guy, one of them, got in here and he had a welt.
Oh, they'll bite you, they'll make you bleed.
Oh, well, yeah, they didn't even bite him, they just smacked him. With their feet. His tail just burned.
I went up to Tall last year. I tried to keep the noxious weed spray down.
Well, yeah.
Blowing everywhere. That's what I'm trying to eliminate, not the top, the inside bank.
Oh, as long as we keep it a little taller.
Yeah, last year I kept the tops like 18 inches.
That's good.
But I'm just trying to get the inside banks knocked down, burn off, and sprayed so it's just rock instead of the weed that I can't get to the valve. So I told him I would be weed burning.
Yeah, they just don't like to follow grass because they can't see if there's something that we're grabbing.
There's a thing back there all winter long. They just,
I'm sure those lagoons don't freeze up like that.
they got pretty solid.
Oh, yeah, well. Not often we get a week of something there.
Because when I was pulling him on top of the ice in the boat to do the sludge samples,
Yeah,
that was a tussle. And then even when I put the first bypass pump in, I had to do a lot of ice breaking that one. I just wanted to make sure you knew what I was gonna do. He said, no problem.
It should.
There's one. that's-
I've seen other people who just take a little mistakes about the bag of those you can run a string through. They don't like having it.
Oh, yeah.
This is what I'm like on.
I don't know, we're pretty good.
If it's flat,
Well,
but if it's at the top of the hill.
That's the last thing I'm trying to get under control. The weeds that I can't get to.
Go for it.
Okay.
You good?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to the construction project.
Me too.
I think we all are.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait.
Alright. Marshall.
Okay, so I got a text from Thomas a couple weeks ago. And he said if anyone would like to reach out to him individually, or if we want to schedule an executive meeting, we could do that. But he asked me to present to the board that he has the opportunity to return to Michigan Town if the council is willing. Again, I'm in favor as it costs the town no additional money. Because we already have all of his gear and things like that. But we can talk about it. He's good rapport, knows what we expect.
Exactly what he was here. He did a good job.
He said if the board approves, he could start as early as this week.
Because now that we're getting in warm weather, the kids are starting to come out of work too.
Yeah.
So you really need one back.
I know you were somewhat, I'm not sure about the weekends.
Yeah, I think that was our only concern, was the no weekends.
And does that change or anything?
Well, I think, I mean, schedules, I think still very similar. I explained like the max 6-hour shift at the last meeting, but that's the only change we made to the job description.
Yeah.
I think there's very few times he worked more than 6 hours anyway, so.
I'm not opposed to having it back, in my opinion, but it would be, I mean, obviously we would have to go out and uniform for another
Exactly.
option.
You fit right back in.
On that,
No,
No, I mean, I would have asked this one, I mean, we'll wait for.
First things first.
That's okay. I mean, I guess our only thing is we'd have to have a new contract with them, right? To start over, assuming. Okay. The only thing
It would be easy to start, like you said,
Yeah.
the cost would be.
yeah, there is no cost, yeah.
I think no matter who we hire, we're never guaranteed weekends unless we hire someone especially for weekends.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, the only hiccup from what I've heard, so.
That's one time you're gonna get something, it's gonna work a lot of weekends, it's an older weekend. And that's really hard. It's got everything that needs to be enforced. Town marshal note, the town marshal we got shot north of town here is getting pretty close to going back to work at Christmas.
Wow.
He's gonna hope to be released.
Cool.
He's got a little bit of a weight restriction, but as soon as he gets off of that, he's back to work. And there was a confusion where he got hit 2 times or 3. One was through here, quite through, so that was the longest, but then he had another gouge here and gouge here. I don't know if that was 2 separate, or one was fragment, you know, in shrapnel going through.
Yeah, really like that.
That's the big gouge he went right through here.
Did you say that the reason we had to leave in the first place was that the sheriff's office didn't want him to look at?
That looked it, so. And he's gonna call in with questions.
That's why I want to know why someone leaves.
Okay, so what are your thoughts?
Well, I had the same concern on the weekend issue. Northern Express. However, I'm in favor of saving town some money and we can get it back on for a little or no cost.
So I'll make a motion, well, and let's discuss, I guess we should discuss wages. Are we okay with bringing it back to what we proposed at the salary ordinance? I think it was 34 an hour. What we talked about when we were discussing salary ordinances.
Gotcha.
I just want to make sure it's all right in the contract.
I'm okay with that.
You okay with that, Jeff?
Yeah, where we're at, if you left. Should be a good starting point for that.
Would be,
It's more than what we talked about raising him to at the beginning of 2026. But he left right in before that went into place. 34 is what it will be now. It was, I think, 29 or 30. Does that sound right?
I know at one time it was 25, I think that's been some time back.
Was it 29 and we talked about bumping up to, because that's,
yeah,
it's still below, but it's more comparable to what the other towns pay on the hour. And I think that's already approved in the salary ordinance, which I think is kind of checking.
No, we don't know traffic salary package. We're losing again to some of the agency too.
There's potential for that.
In order to look at that part-timer, do weekends, at least you'll have somebody.
Yeah, and then if the budget looks good, we can always add someone very part-time just for a weekend day or two. And we have someone core that knows the town, knows the people, knows the ordinances already.
Marshall down 18,360. I don't know how many hours we have.
I think it's 11 a week is the max I think we put on the contract.
I think so it was.
572 hours.
That's about $32 an hour.
It would have been probably November or December meeting.
right? We would have done salary ordinances.
Um,
Yeah. The final decision of the board was to raise the marshal to $34, leave the board the same, raise town maintenance to 25. That was in the November meeting. You don't want to see that. Yeah, is everybody in favor of that amount? Okay, so I'll make a motion to hire Thomas Pelling back as town marshal at $34 an hour. Effective immediately when contract signed?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
So I'll just, tomorrow morning, can I just send you the contract to just give a quick approval of? And we'll go from there.
That's, should have some, quarter 10, and 11. 10 and 10:30, so yeah, other than that, I'll be in the office.
Thank you. All right, just fine.
Okay, the town maintenance side. Picked up parts of service, a lawnmower and tractor. And I've since serviced the tractor and the lawnmower, sharpened all the sets of blades, so all those are ready to go. I took the passer online class to be certified as a grader for the streets. That's about 7 hours on my life. I'll never go back. An online class, but did take it, did pass the test finally. Replaced 3 traffic signs at Ohio and 2nd Street. Also repaired 4 other street signs. I cleaned up all the snow pile debris that was left after snow was gone. I met with the guy that was here this evening about permits for 102 Main Street. The other day when they was calling for 4 or 5 inches of rain this last week, I went around town, cleaned out all the surface drains so water could get away. And in doing so, I plotted those on a map. The next guy to be able to find down the road. I know our last engineer went around and did that stormwater survey and found 53. Well, I found 62. I found 3 more today that I didn't know existed, so it was like 65. But all those have been cleaned out, cleaned off. Also cleaned up, we're always trying to plow the alleys one time this winter, which I had to once, part of them twice. But invariably, I leave some stone piles in people's yards from that, so I went back and put that stone back in the alleys. And for town maintenance, that's it. Wastewater, like I discussed a while ago, I picked up the parts and assembled the second bypass pump for back there. We just haven't had to put it in yet. I've had multiple communications with Commonwealth over different things and met with Darren and Joe Rule at the North Grinder lift station. That issue, I think, is resolved. Did have to remove the bypass pump that I put in originally back at the plant. I had to remove it to clean the debris from the suction screen because plastic wrappers and all leaves would, even though I set it in the bucket, drill holes in the bucket to try to keep that stuff out, it's still, somehow gets in. We started losing our flow. And I took it out, cleaned it off, put it back in, and flow coming back. I've done, I lost track, I didn't count all of them, but probably done 4 or 5 locate renewals in the last month. At least they're easy ones. It's ones that we don't even have sewers in. So you get on the phone and click nothing there, good to go. And I think that's it for wastewater treatment plant. Today I did serve 6 ordinances. One is already, well, there's 2 or 3 I think is already in progress. Because I've seen trucks hooked to trailers already, like they're getting ready to move them out. So that's been done today. 2 other things that I added on to mine for a little discussion. I don't remember where we left with Brenda Craft.
I think we left it where as long as they were making progress, it was fine. It's when the progress stopped, we would have to reassess the fine.
Okay. At some point, we'll probably have to revisit that because nothing's happened. And I don't expect it to take a lot of time later. Yeah,
It should start back up here.
but it should be starting back up. Soon. The pile of stuff back there, something down. It's just like, I hope you're not planning on burning because we'll rain on that for rain events. What's laying there is not stuff that you can legally burn.
I have a question. Do we need to find out if she owns the house or son? Remember, because she said son owns the house.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think his
Okay,
name.
I don't.
Keaton. Kagan.
Okay.
I think it's keeping.
I said that once, he corrected me and said it's Kagan.
Okay.
So,
Oh,
Mr. Crafton, how's that? Well, I suppose his last name. And the last thing is, last fall when you had me and Thomas turn in like a budget thing, what we was looking at for next year, I turned in a dollar figure for a line striper instead of the can Fisher Price one that I've been using. I think that was approved or not. Purchase, and so that was like last one.
I don't know that, because you don't really have a budget, I don't know if they approve anything, I think if you want something, just ask them.
Yeah.
And we see if we have money in the budget.
Yeah.
I think what you guys were asking for fit in line with what was kind of budgeted. But
This was what I showed you guys, and maybe even gave you copies of it, is that one there. Which in the long run, even though it's expensive, in the long run, it's gonna be cheaper after a few years, because you're not buying dozens of cans of aerosol. And you're buying a bucket. Be done with it. What was the price of that? Looked like it's $4,500, but that's kind of a low price now. And that was through Home Depot. Yeah.
so is that where you like dump the paint in it and then you can mark it?
Yeah, what happens is this is the paint bucket, this is the pump.
Oh, okay.
It's not an air sprayer, it's a pump. So therefore you get the paint on a little thicker. Because a lot of times with that aerosol can, I gotta run over 2 or 3 times to get it thick enough to stay for the year. And also the places that I hand roll, like the yellow curves up around the bank and those places, you can take this gun off and spray paint. So it'll be a lot quicker, a lot better job. So I would like to ask for the approval to purchase that. I'll get a good price, and then I'll just email everybody with the price.
Not an insane amount over that.
Around 4,500, give or take.
Yeah, it'll probably be,
Oh,
I'm guessing 46 or 7 now, but. And I think that's all I got.
They get a motion.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, the purpose of the look fair for part of our parking lot.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
And Pam will get you like the current, that way you can order it instead of me paying it. Because I can't get out of the tax.
That's a lot of tax.
And I would think, ordering it through Home Depot, they would ship it to us, or at least ship it to Home Depot in Lafayette. I think they ship it to here.
Don't currently have a account there that I'm aware of for that. So I don't know what it takes to get an account there. I'm sure it takes give them the first one, because usually that's, nobody wants the first one. Then you might check it, you know, and let me place them down to see if they, if you want to.
I can do that. I'm never gonna do that, thought.
Something that the old board always tries, but I'll possibly do pay $100 extra to be also.
I've never seen anything like that in Jones advertisements or there. What was the other place?
There, that tool place out there, I saw.
Oh.
Valley,
Stone
Stone
Alley.
Valley, yeah.
Yeah.
We have an account there because I set that up.
Exactly.
One of them might be able to order it if they don't
Yeah.
carry it.
I'll check. Never give it a thought. Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, they're affiliated with Circle. They're affiliated with Circle.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, locally, it's just a little better for
I'd rather do it locally because it's easier just to go get it.
Yeah. I have one thing, which I didn't know where to bring it up at. I know we talked about it maybe last year, the year before, was the bathrooms back to all that. Because I'm assuming y'all are not using them.
Youth League has not used them in 3 years now.
So do we fix it, do we tear it down? What's your guys'
Correct me if I'm wrong, is it that the porta pots that you guys have been using seem to work better for everybody than the
I
hassle
don't
of
have to
bathrooms?
plunge poop nightly.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
My opinion would be get rid of them, quit maintaining it, quit paying sewage on it.
how hard would it be to give them that little piece of, because is that, are we, the town's maintaining that? Supposed to? That's my next question.
That from the east side of the restrooms to the street is the tenants. But they've been mowing,
Correct.
so I haven't had to mow or maintain that spot. You know, technically should be, but they've been nice enough to keep that spot mowed, and we've not maintained
Yeah.
the piece of crap asphalt drive in the back there either,
No,
which is ours.
yeah, so that's my question, what do you guys want to do?
I personally would get rid of it and quit worrying about it, because it's always been a hassle.
If you're replacing, you gotta do ADA.
Yeah,
But,
that's,
yeah,
Which is
it's
why
expensive.
they usually talked about, and then that came and like, it's like, we can't afford to.
because what's there is not technically ADA.
If we're gonna spend that much money, we'll make sure the bathrooms are up where kids don't run across the parking lot.
Well, if you want to give them that,
That was my next question, what would it entail to give them that piece of?
Well, they don't know any of that land.
no.
They rent it.
They, okay,
From the
but
trust-
the trust, yeah,
the
but to the trustees. To where we don't, and someone's got to maintain the drive.
That would be a trustee question,
Yeah.
if you want to take it on.
They would want to take it on.
Tell you what, we'll give him that, he gives us the dirt to put the new tent on. We'll trade.
I'm sure it'll just trade.
We'll give you bathrooms and dirt, for dirt.
The worst bathrooms you've ever seen in your life, you can have them.
So do we need to? Get estimates to Yeah, I'm
I
just
gotta
saying,
put it on the agenda.
put it on the agenda. Yeah. Okay.
I am out. She's like, conflict of interest.
Mhm.
I have seen recently some other towns discussing the bathrooms. And how to keep them so that they're not damaged all the time. And it's not just us problem, it's everywhere.
We've been locked in and kids still find ways to get in and damage them.
Yeah, the doors are dark on,
You gotta tell me twice. That trauma.
yeah, even if we have to lay it and move the little square out there, that takes 5 minutes, you know, with our own. I think at least get rid of the bathrooms, get rid of that hassle and maintenance, that they're not used. We're paying on.
Any public comment? Next meeting, March 9th, 6:30?
Nope, no, we were.
This is March.
Yep, this is March 9th, let's do it again.
Well, that's what it says, next regular meeting, so we need to change that. So next meeting is April 13th. Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Adjourn. All in favor, aye.
Steve, for making these instructions.
Oh, I was gonna say, he's probably
And you
on.
understand what I'm saying? Wrong hole, wrong hole.
Everybody have a good evening.
You too.
We went home today, we came from my house.
Wow.
I was almost early enough.
The whole party.
You know,
See ya.